Hi, I'm Rick Conlow. I'm glad you're here. I'm going to talk to you about superstar sales, 5 steps to greatness. Wouldn't you like that? Wouldn't you want to be the best of the best? I'm going to get to the ingredients of what that is all about. Now let me ask you a question, a couple questions if you will. Do you want to climb the ladder of sales success? Do you want to break through in your career so that you can increase your income? Do you want to get some new ideas that your customers just can't say no to? Do you want to ramp it up so you have your greatest year ever? Then pay attention because it's coming. Let's look at it here right now. I'm going to share with you key steps that make the difference between average to good to greatness. And it begins with this. As salespeople, we need to have a big picture view of what we do, our market, our competition, and the strategies to win. And then we need to focus all that into our individual customer and how we can help them. And there are 5 key steps in the middle that I'm going to zero into in just a minute. But remember, that strategic planning up front, that follow-up and reinforcement makes the difference in the key elements that we'll be talking about. But let me start off with Walter Payton, superstar. And why do I share Walter with you? He was one of the greatest running backs of all time. Wasn't the biggest, wasn't the strongest, but he was the most committed. He worked the hardest. They called him Sweetness because of what he did, because it looked effortless. And how did he get there? He had a training regimen every year that other NFL stars tried to follow, and they couldn't do it. It was too hard. It was too intense. But he did it, and why did he do that? He got the best of his ability. That's what I'm talking about here as I'll be going into these 5 steps to greatness. So superstar selling. Let's start off with the first key step. It's about addressing concerns. And what's the difference from everybody else and those who are the best? And it's this. The key question is, how do I deal with resistance positively? Notice I didn't say overcome. When the customer has questions, concerns, or objections, and I start with this point because this is the one that drives salespeople crazy and causes them to lose every day, even as we speak here together. It's about helping. It's about understanding. It's about listening to be more effective. And that's why we say use what we call the lead model to lead you to sales success. Listen, explore, attend to find the solutions. Now, here I'm only hitting on the high points. We want to be a student of the game, just like Walter Payton, and learn more and practice more. Second point I want to go over is building rapport. What sales program doesn't deal with that one? Well, really, though, you got to remember, rapport isn't just the face-to-face. Although I'll comment on that, it begins before that. It's the sales call planning. Do you know what your customer needs? Do you know their competition? Have you done your homework? Do you have a sales call plan in writing? Have you kind of visualize the call and what you need to do to help move the call forward or close the sale? That's the first step. Most salespeople don't do that. Then the second is that climate building. Relate, focus, check is what we say. Relate to them, talk to them about what you have in common or something you've learned about them. Do that for a little bit. Focus what you're there for today, get their agreement. That's the first step to closing the sale. And then check it, make sure it makes sense. If it is, boom, you move forward. So we've covered 2 steps now. Address concerns, building rapport. Let's go on to the third step to greatness. And the key question here is identifying needs. How can I listen more to my customer effectively so I can fulfill their needs and wants? That's a critical thing. Too many salespeople ask generic, off-the-cuff, unplanned questions. What we're saying here is you got to be better than that. You've got to almost script this and then dance, of course, in the call based on what happens. We use the open model. We ask overview questions. We talk about priority questions. We want to have elaborate questions based on how the customer answers us. And then most importantly, we zero that into the customer needs. That's the payoff. What's most important to them? The bottom line. Improvement, gain, sales, results, quality, creativity, differentiation. That's what I'm talking about. And then from that, we go to the 4th step to greatness. And notice on each of these steps, even though these are basic skills that all salespeople need to do, what I'm focusing you on is the difference between the best and the rest. And so presenting is how can I align my solution, the best meet the customer key needs. That's what we're doing with presentation. And again, this is something we've got to plan to do our best job possible. We just don't get ready for it. And here's a differentiation point. Most salespeople, and I hope you have heard about features, advantages, benefits. Where we really want to get to is the benefit of how our solution helps them. What's the payoff for them? That's the key differentiation between the lower paid salespeople and the highest salespeople. How you translate your features into how it's going to help that customer that you're dealing with today. And you can fab lots of things, and you'll see a picture here of those things that you can. And there's certain ways to present. And here you see a quick picture that goes through that process. And notice how it brings you back to your rapport. It brings you back to your purpose, the goals and objectives of the account. And then your proposal, focusing on the benefits and their needs. And then you ask for the business. That's what we're talking about. So the fifth step, the greatness, is knowing how to gain commitment. No, I just don't say closing. Average salespeople close. Great salespeople gain commitment. And what it is you help your customer make a decision. You may have to go over things a number of times. You're helping them make a decision so they win with their customers and their business is more successful, not just so you get a commission. Are you hearing what I'm saying here as I talk about these steps and how they all go together? I don't believe you need 1,001 ways to close a sale, as some books say. If you've done your job right in all the other areas, the closing almost becomes automatic. Our experience is over half the accounts will say, well, how can I get this? When can we get started? They close it for you. That's how you get commitment. And then you do the paperwork and things that you need to do to make that happen. I want to add one other key point here that is missing. And I call it the greatest closing technique of all time, and that is sales follow-up. We need to follow up with email, back in person, additional information, added value, those kinds of things. So here we are, back to the superstar selling model. And it comes from our book, Superstar Sales. And why do I share that with you? Each of us, the difference between greatness and average and poor, is what you learn. And Michael Jordan, superstar, is a great example of that. I don't know if you knew that, but in the beginning, he didn't make his high school basketball team. He was put on the junior varsity. They said, you're not big enough, you're not good enough. Well, Michael had an inner desire to win, and he trained hard. He scored over 40 points on that junior varsity team. And of course, the rest is history. 6 NBA titles, 6 MVP awards, unmatched in sports history. And how did he do it? He worked harder than anybody. He trained harder than anybody. That's why I share a sales book. That's why I say this. They're really, if you want to win and be great at what you do and learn all you can in these 5 steps I shared with you, is be a student of the game. Increase your learning, and you'll increase your earning. That's what I'm talking about. Now with me, close this. Say, I am, I can, I will. You have a great day. I have this dream that soars on golden wings. I dream of your achievements and your legacy that sings. I do not know all about your awesome goals or your persistent efforts to raise the bar. I only know that you can be the best, a sales superstar. Have a great day.